to let y'all know before you go, we will be continuing through June 7th with Theology on Tap, so please come next Tuesday, or Tuesday through June 7th. Next week, Eric Sammons will be coming down from St. John's in Gaithersburg, and he'll be picking up the theme of, somebody who knows him, he'll be picking up the theme of the scripture and the liturgy, how the two interrelate. So he'll be here next week for that. And the week after that, Father Matt will be coming back for a reprise. And he'll also be taking up the theme from Rachel's talk. And he'll be speaking more on the Mass as heaven on earth and that relationship. So come back. Then June 7th will be Father Phil Hurley, Jesuit priest. He'll be doing the retreat at OLPH later in July. But he'll be coming to give a talk on Theology on Tap ahead of that. So, and thank you again, Rachel, for coming tonight.
Thank you. Awesome.
I should have turned it off.
All right, do we have questions? More stories? Yes.
Well, my story is not, it's not mine, it's not half so cool or involved as those, so I didn't want to join
Please
it. But
share.
when I also did a semester in Austria at the same campus as Rachel, and one of the things about that campus is it's also home to an Eastern Catholic campus. So we share the chapel, and they have their Eastern liturgy, and there's some interplay, like one of the Franciscan students ended up marrying a Byzantine seminarian who became a priest, and by then he was back as the chaplain there with them and their children, so there's a very close relationship between the two. But one of the guys who was there my semester from Franciscan was Protestant, studying philosophy. But he started going to the Divine Liturgy, to the Eastern Liturgy, every week. He was interested, it was different, it intrigued him in a way the Roman Liturgy didn't, I guess. But one Sunday he said he was at liturgy again, and just at the time of consecration it just hit him. He was Assembly of God, they don't have anything like liturgy, I don't think they even have communion, it's just a praise and worship service. So this is completely new to him, but it was the moment of consecration, and he just realized that is Christ up there. That is Christ in the Eucharist. That is my God. Wow. And he began taking instruction in the Eastern Church, and he's now a priest in that liturgy. So,
good story. Yes.
I was just curious, with your profession, and you had asked us a question about, what are we hearing from people regarding the Mass? What do you hear from the girls, from that age group?
From teenagers? Well, lots of things. They certainly bored. A lot of them, sports are more of a priority. I mean, I don't know if any of you remember when you played sports, that people schedule games on Sundays and Saturday nights, and especially if their family doesn't make Mass a priority, they certainly don't. I mean, the girls in Mountain Sales are pretty good. They're pretty reverent, but they, a lot of them have not had a personal experience with Christ. Maybe they've been in Catholic school their whole lives, maybe they've been through CCD, been raised by Catholic parents, but they don't really believe that that's Jesus. So they don't even really believe that Jesus is a person. He's kind of just a answer on a test,
Well, the reason I asked that is I went 8 years of OPH.
Okay.
And then, I'm going to age myself now, but I would have gone to Monty Sales. I played basketball, but they didn't have a gym.
Oh, yeah.
So we didn't go to Monty Sales because I had to be shipped around to play.
Right.
And then Seton was too far away. Seton hadn't merged with Keogh yet. Seton was too far away. My parents were into alma maters, so my dad went to St. Joe, so my brothers went to St. Joe.
Yep.
Seton was too far away. Trinity, that my mom went to, no longer a high school. Keogh, at the time, my parents didn't like the order of nuns that ran Keogh, so I actually went to public school. I went to Mount Hebron. And it's just interesting because some of the people that I went to Catholic school with, we went Thursdays and then we went on Sundays. If I grew up in the same type of family where, it was kind of instilled with us, and we were a Catholic going family, and we ate dinners together and stuff. But a lot of people chose not to go to, once they got out of 8 years of Catholic school, they didn't go anymore because they felt like it was almost being forced on them. It wasn't really their choice, and they wanted to have the choice. And I was just curious because I'm a high school teacher, and I was just curious because with you being with them, you know, and them going to a Catholic high school, is it because, granted, it's a great school. I know the waiting list is huge for that school, which is phenomenal, you know, considering some other Catholic schools have closed. But I was just curious if those girls really believe, like, while they attend there, or they're just going there because their families are instilling in them a good education, which I'm sure they're getting, but they're not really buying into the whole, you know, this is important for my life type of thing. So I was just curious from your experience.
You'll find both at Mount Sales, absolutely. And I'm going to just generalize teenagers and young adults too, so that's us, right? We don't like being told what to do. Maybe adults don't really like that, right? Anybody doesn't really like being told what to do. So, especially if your parents are telling you you have to go and they're the ones waking you up and rolling you out of bed. And then that's why once everyone gets to college, they stop going to Mass. Because their parents aren't there waking them up. They can sleep in and their friends aren't getting them to go. You know, so I really believe that for teenagers, what I try to tell them and tell my group of friends is pick good friends that will support you in your faith. Because if you're alone, you will get lonely very quickly and it'll be a very hard battle. And it will be difficult to be the only one to go to Mass, you know. And it's sad because a lot of our girls, their parents don't go to Mass. And so a lot of them want to go and they can't drive, you know. And then I said, well, call up friends. Get a friend to take you, you know. So, you know, you're going to find that everywhere, but I think especially what I've tried to do now with young adults or people my age, lapsed Catholics, whatever you want to call them, you know, that stopped practicing, is to invite and make it sound appealing, you know, and say, let's go to the 5:30 p.m. Mass and we'll go out for drinks after. You know, but just make it natural.
Yeah,
make it an invitation. Christ said, come follow me. He didn't say, do this and this and this or you're going to go to hell. You know, he just said, come follow me. Come to Mass. That's what I would do. Nice question.
I've done that with my husband too. I mean, we first started dating and he was like, well, my godfather just passed away, so I don't want to, you know, I have to leave because I have to go to the Mass in the morning. Do you think that's weird? And I'm like, I go every Sunday. And he was like, what? You go every Sunday? I'm like, it's 1 hour, for God's sake.
Right.
and I'm saying,
right.
Sometimes I shouldn't be receiving that communion, and I don't. And he's like, really? You really still go? And he never forgot that. And he started going to Mass right after that.
That's awesome.
Back when I went to Mount St. Mary's years and years ago, tried alcohol for reasons, most of my friends have graduated. But when I was there, you know, there was a 10 o'clock Mass Monday through Thursday in a chapel.
At night?
At night, 10 o'clock at night. It was just,
no
it was the really crowded one. Just kind of chapel. And I kind of, you know, I like going to Mass, you know. They normally have the priests, you know, good homilists for the most part. But really, when I didn't say think of it as just the Mass. It's like you associate like 10 o'clock Mass, especially on Wednesday nights with seeing friends, and you know, they might have, you know, snacks afterward on Wednesday, or, you know, me and a few of my friends, you know, would go out to, you know, the cafe and get, you know, snacks or something and just hang out there for, you know, a half hour after Mass. And it was really, I think, one of the things that I think was, I mean, a lot of these people were just, you know, hardcore Catholics and have gone to daily Mass regardless. But I think one of the things that made it more appealing was that we didn't approach it as just Mass. It was the Mass and, you know,
community.
And community. And
cool.
If you don't get that in the Mass itself, find a way to do it, you know, around that time. So
that's a great point.
just like, you know, we, you know, come here to learn about God and drink beer.
Cheers.
I love being Catholic.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the whole point, is the Mass is supposed to foster community because it's supposed to be heaven on earth. And what are we doing in heaven? We're with a lot of people, you know. It's the communion of saints, and we're mirroring that on earth. And I think one of the people said one of the criticisms of Mass is they don't feel welcome, or they don't, maybe don't have friends, they don't see other young adults in the pew. Well, that's something on us. Are we welcoming to the newbies, Are we reaching out and saying, hey, I've never met you before, what's your name? Glad you're here. Gotta do it. What else? Are you coming back up here?
And she shoot, I just coming over to give you tips.
Wow, thanks.
No, I apologize, dear, but I can't keep my seat. I love to talk about Jesus.
That's where she gets it from.
When Rachel asked what do people say in a critique of Mass, one that's, at least in my experience, fairly common that didn't come up was, why should I go there? I know the people that go there, and they're a bunch of losers or hypocrites, or he beats his wife or whatever. I used to work for him, and he cheated me on my bed, whatever. And apropos of that, does everyone know who G.K. Chesterton was?
Oh yeah. Great man.
That's the rowdy corner.
That's the rowdy corner. Okay. Anyhow, he was a layman, a convert to Catholicism, and a very famous apologist. He wrote extensively defending the Catholic faith. And how he came to be a Catholic is very interesting. He came to the knowledge that Jesus was Lord and started shopping for a church. He lived in England, and so he went to this particular denominational service, and one Sunday he went to a Catholic Mass. And as he wrote about this and said, the liturgy was profound and moving and very familiar, because he had some familiarity with the Anglican Church, and was moved by that, and then left the church. And being an Englishman, he carried an umbrella with him, typically. Well, he got out on the street and realized he had left his umbrella behind. Went back to the church, to the pew that he was seated in, and somebody had stolen his umbrella. And he said, this is the church for me. They let sinners in here, and I'm a sinner. This is where I belong.
That's a great story.
So it's an evangelistic aspect of the Mass that doesn't usually proclaim.
Very different. All right. Wow.
I want to say,
Yes.
my mother was her first year at Oak Crest School for Girls.